Hi, this is Kathleen from American College Strategies, and I'm on the campus of Loyola Marymount University here in West Los Angeles, California. This is a pretty magnificent campus. It's one of the most beautiful in the country. We're here on the bluffs overlooking the Pacific Ocean. Today is a Sunday and kind of cloudy, so I don't have a really great view of the Los Angeles basin and the Pacific Ocean, but usually from this campus and from your dorm here, you can see just that. So let me tell you a little bit about Loyola Marymount University. It is a Catholic Jesuit university. Loyola Marymount's philosophy is social justice and ethical leadership, and everything they do harkens back to that whole philosophy. And it's interesting, one of the things I learned on my tour here, that every year about 175,000 hours are done by students volunteering and giving back to the local community. That says something about social justice and ethical leadership, and certainly shows that this campus believes it in and out. Loyola Marymount is a medium-sized school of about a little over 6,000 students. I actually attended here as a graduate student for my degree and ended up coming back later on to teach about 3 semesters in the graduate program. So I'm a little bit familiar with the campus, and I love the changes and new changes that have happened here on the campus since I was here a few years ago. It's much more diversified in the type of students that come here. Previously, you'd have mostly Los Angeles students here. Now I see very many students from all over the country and the world here, and I think that is a really good reach out to the rest of the world and the Jesuit tradition, saying that we live in a community of the world. So there's about a little over 6,000 students here. About 3,000 live on campus. George Bernard Shaw said, "Life is not about finding yourself. Life is about creating yourself." That quote is the motto for the incoming class of 2013 for Loyola Marymount University. Each year, the previous freshman class chooses a motto for the incoming class. And this helps for the students to come together as a unit freshman year. Loyola has a first-year experience that they have every freshman involved in, and there's some wonderful things that go on, especially starting with the first 2 weeks of school. Really intensive bonding of the whole freshman class. There's hall bedlam, there are dinners under the starlight, there are parent conferences and gatherings, there are student dances, and they really feel that the freshman's first-year experience sets the tone for the school. So for the incoming students this year, remember, life is not about finding yourself, but creating yourself. That's really what Loyola Marymount, the Jesuit tradition, believes in. As I'm strolling the campus, I'm really harking back to my days walking around the campus as a graduate student and hanging out and grabbing my coffee. And as I was reflecting today, I ran into 4 young women, and they're in the Marian Society. And I asked them what that was, and they told me that it's a society of women that gather and talk about women's rights. They said they're really true feminists. And 4 of them came from very different areas, 2 from the Los Angeles area and 2 from Northern California, but different majors: film, science, engineering, psychology, and English. One of them said that she had studied abroad in Australia, and they're all looking forward to getting out in 4 years here. They all talked about the cost, but they felt it was very much worth it. So it was very nice to see students on campus here and find out what they're doing and their thoughts about Loyola Marymount. All 4 of them said they're very glad they came here. What I like about Loyola Marymount is its fairly small size of 6,000. It's really hands-on working with the students. Right down the field across from me this Sunday, I see the film and TV crew actually filming a student project. And they're really, I think, ranked in the top 8 in students and schools with film and television. Loyola Marymount has 7 different colleges here. Your liberal arts, your science and engineering, your film, your business, your law. Additionally, it has your School of Education, and also Loyola Marymount has the School of Communication and Fine Arts. So you really have a lot of diversity, and you can move around. While many students choose their major, when you apply, you really don't declare your major until after sophomore year. So you do have some maneuverability. The other thing I wanted to talk about Loyola Marymount is the tuition. It's almost $40,000, about $38,000, with $13,000 for housing. So it certainly is not an inexpensive option for students. However, what you need to think of is if you go to a public university here in California, you're paying about $30,000 a year room, board, and tuition, and it will take you longer than 4 years to get out. In Loyola Marymount, almost everybody gets out in 4 years. And so you have to think you'll be working and actually earning money, which actually, when you think of the long run, the net cost, it's just a great price for a small community, lots of interaction with your professors, and getting out in a timely fashion so you can get on with your life. I wanted to talk a little bit about the student life on campus. It is a really exciting student life. It's a little quiet right now because it's Sunday morning, and most of the students obviously were out last night and they're resting like most young adults are Sunday morning. But Loyola Marymount has a rich tradition of being very active. All their students are involved in many clubs. There are 140 on campus, and about 25% of students are involved in the Greek life, fraternities and sororities, and that's pretty high from most campuses I've come across lately. That's quite a high number. Also, there are lots of different clubs. One of them, the honors club, and honors courses that students can take. You can apply as a freshman or a sophomore to get into the program. And so you have to really look when you're applying at some additional information that you need to send off to make sure if you want to be part of the honors program. And that really gives you first choice at registration, smaller classes. So many of you may want to consider that. When you talk about student life at Loyola Marymount, you are in an extremely exciting city of Los Angeles. You are surrounded by the greater Los Angeles area, and that's a real plus for students here at Loyola Marymount. They have the Lion Express, which is a Loyola Marymount bus that takes students to and from beaches and places of interest within Los Angeles. And it works on the weekends up until midnight picking up students. It's a set schedule, but it's a good thing to know for parents that there is an LMU bus picking students up. When I talk about how the Los Angeles area impacts Loyola Marymount and its students, here are some examples. If you're majoring in engineering, you could be involved in volunteer and intern at SPACEX. SPACEX is a private company that is launching space satellites, and it is only 3 miles from here in Hawthorne, California. If you want to be in education, you can work at one of the largest school districts in the country, Los Angeles Unified, and do internship there. There's schools surrounding this campus that you can actually go and work in and hone your skills and be an excellent teacher. If you're talking about film and communications, you are right next to Hollywood. You can work here at Hollywood. You can work here at MTV, which is a little bit about 3 miles north of here. You can work here at any of the studios in Culver City or Hollywood. So everything you do here is based here. Talk about law. Some of the top law firms in this country are very close by in Century City where you can actually work and eventually get a job here. And Loyola Marymount is absolutely like a web within the city of Los Angeles. That's why Loyola Marymount is a great space for any of my students. It offers a lot in a small city, in an absolutely spectacular campus, hands-on connections to the industry you want to learn about and be involved in and work for, and a very close-knit community where you can get involved and feel like you are part of the community. If you're interested in Loyola Marymount, give me a call. Don't so much worry about the cost because over 70% of the students get financial aid to come here. See if this is a fit. Come and visit the campus. Give me a call. Take a tour. Visit with someone in admissions and come here and join us at Loyola Marymount University. Thanks.